Good morning. Welcome to Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DeJohn on the Train Station Fitness Show. Good friends of mine, my colleagues in the station with me, Dr. Jeremy Webster and also Dr. Kevin Light. I call you colleagues not because I'm a doctor, but because we're on the same playing field when it comes to our goals, our intentions, and some of the knowledge we have and have gained in the history that we have together. We've got probably
the same wavelength.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Yeah, but this is the All About You show. We do not have a topic because the topic is you. Well, we've got a topic if you're considered the topic, but it's important for you to call us today. There's several people, actually a lot of people who emailed me and said, George, I will not have time to listen to the show. Can you talk about this or that? We cannot do that. It doesn't make for the show. Otherwise, we now have a topic. Right? So you must call in because it's just like being in class. One person brings up a topic and then you start to get some energy off of that topic and different ideas and you start bouncing it back and forth. And pretty soon you've got this incredible infotainment about that class or this show. The phone number today is 888-787-1310, 888-787-1310, so it doesn't matter if you're in the listening area or not. You can give us a call. Any questions about health and fitness we would love to address. We've got a medical doctor, we've got a chiropractor nutritionist, and you've got me. So good morning to you, boys.
Good morning.
Morning, George.
Latest, I'm going to put you on the spot. The latest topical, compelling information, even that might be controversial, that either one of you have read that is not discussed properly and or enough. Kevin, go.
Oh, jeez, the latest.
On the spot.
That is like
That is
way
on the spot. You've read several books in the past couple of weeks. I know you got one little anecdote that you can give us. Bam.
Compelling that's not really discussed properly.
Either not discussed properly or not known about enough. Not well known.
Proper methods of weight loss. Again, it's an old, tired topic.
It's not tired if it's improper.
But the American approach to weight loss is abysmal, and the whole calories in, calories out equation is so upside down and backwards that it's awful. And
I love that. Did you hear what he said, Dr. Webster? The American way of weight loss.
Right.
I like that. It's totally different than how others look at. And I don't call it weight loss. I call it fat loss.
Failing at weight loss.
Failing at weight loss. Go ahead. What is yours?
I read an interesting article about post-workout recovery drinks, talking about how, in the past we've talked about getting your protein very quickly after you work out, and this guy was talking about, and it made sense. He said you're a little bit insulin resistant right after your workout because of the damage you've done to your muscles.
Right.
And so it's better to wait 30 to 45 minutes and then get your protein because you'll take it up a little bit better at that point rather than immediate. So I've been working, kind of giving that advice to some of my patients, and they seem to be responding pretty well to it.
Now you say responding. How do they know they're responding?
Less soreness.
Less soreness, okay.
They seem to recover a little bit quicker because they're able to take up that protein and repair their muscles a little bit easier.
All right, so if you have questions or comments about your eating program, exercise program, you're not on one, you want to start one, maybe it's something more in depth, are you on medications, you've got a pain in your ass, whatever it is, we've got qualified people here on this panel to help address those issues as far as I am concerned and the experience I've had with these two gentlemen. So give us a call today, 888-787-1310. It's 705 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 713 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DeJohn on the Train Station Fitness Show. This is the All About You show. You are the topic, so call us, 888-787-1310. On the show with me today is Dr. Jeremy Webster and also Dr. Kevin Light. Before, do you want to go somewhere else? No, let's just take these people. I was looking at something else and my mind is all over the place. So first, let's go to Scott in Anna, Texas. Scott, you're on The Ticket.
Morning, George. Always good to talk to a Harvard man.
Thank you, Scotty.
I had recently an interesting experience, and I don't go to town often, but I was fascinated being at a North Dallas night spot and how many of these 45 to 50-plus guys are so big and barrel-chested. I'm wondering how rampant is the HGH thing going in that age group nowadays?
You know, Scott, I don't think I had Dr. Light and also Dr. Webster look at the question, we all have the same consensus about it, that a barrel chest is more of a genetic issue and also something maybe you can expand upon it, pardon the pun, by exercising that area more. Some people can exercise their entire life and never have a barrel chest. Even if they took any hormone, it doesn't matter. So I don't think we can really correlate a barrel chest or a certain type of body structure with hormones. You guys want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I don't know where you're making the leap of assumption that because they're barrel chested, they're all on HGH. I'm assuming.
Well, I think it was the thick necks and just the complexion, and
Yeah,
there was some.
I have a lot of patients.
I
I have a lot of patients on HGH, and of course we measure their values and make sure that it's indicated. But I would say, I get the whole mix of body types, and there's not one that really predominates if you're using HGH. And to answer your question, how prevalent it is, I'd say probably, just spitballing here, maybe 5 to 10% of the population or of my patient base uses HGH in a medically controlled environment.
Well, at least I still got all my hair.
Thank you, Scotty.
There's that.
Have a great day.
Do you find that they become just as lean as they do big and bulky and muscular? A lot of people think that if
I
you
think they
take
become
HGH,
more
you
lean.
become huge.
I think that there is literature out there that shows that HGH tends to increase your muscle growth in the chest and upper arms and upper body. I think that is an issue. I don't think it's off the charts where you can notice them in a nightclub, but I think you'll see that. I personally have not seen that, and I think I see people become leaner, but I don't really see the disproportionate muscle growth that they talk about.
That's one of the things I wanted to share about that, and we'll just get off this topic because I don't want this to be one of these HGH testosterone shows. But human growth hormone is extraordinarily expensive. And to do the amounts to replicate what you said is in that literature, that you can get bigger muscles in certain parts of the body, is an extraordinarily high amount of money for someone to be able to get those, that response, if you will. We're talking athletes that have the money and so forth. Is it easy to test for?
It's very easy to test for. It's a blood test.
So there's that. Think twice about it. All right, let's go to Noah in Denton. Noah, you're on the Train Station Fitness Show.
Oh, good morning, George.
Morning.
Enjoying the show. I caught the milk episode on 21 Body Makeover Calm, and I'm trying to determine what type of milk to buy because I would still like to. I'm not ready to go off milk, but I don't know. A guy at work told me I'll get an aneurysm if I drink fat-free milk, and and I heard you say it was liquid protein, or maybe the doctor that you had on that day. I'm not ready to give up milk. Should I drink 4%, 2%, or skim?
How about none of those? Go to goat milk or go to rawmilk.com and go that way. These guys might have a different opinion, so I'll let them chime in.
I think raw milk is a good option. The problem with milk is it's got a lot of foreign proteins, and so it's from a cow, and your body isn't designed to handle substances from a cow, and so milk allergies are rampant, and they may not be overt. You might have a subtle allergy that you're not even aware of, that you take milk out of your system, and there's a huge improvement.
And what I can say is if you remove milk for about 3 days completely, and I mean every single bit of milk and milk products for about 3 days, and you feel worse, you're probably going to feel a lot better by doing that because you'll get it all out of your system. The casein proteins end up binding to your opium receptors, so you end up with a kind of a drug-like addiction to these chemicals, and by getting those out of your system, you will feel much, much, much better.
But at first you said if you feel worse after 3 days.
If you feel worse within those first 2 to 3 days, it's just like going off like a heroin addiction. You're going to feel worse, but the upside is the worse you feel by doing that is the better the results are going to be by getting off of it completely.
But I think what you're getting at is that's the indication that there is an effect.
Yeah, that's the indication that you have an addiction or a sensitivity.
So you get milk withdrawal. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You withdraw from milk, just like coffee.
It binds to the same receptors as opium or heroin.
I'll be done.
It's pretty rough for some people.
Let's go to Burke in McKinney. You're on the ticket.
Yeah, hey, I was going to find out. My wife, about 2 years ago, was taking the Sotapelli hormone placement in her hip, and because of financial reasons, obviously we stopped doing it. And I was going to find out if there was another way of her getting that, because she had basically zero testosterone, which all that entails. And is there another a different, maybe a little less expensive route to try to get that without doing synthetic stuff? Is there anything that's comparable to that? Any ideas?
Yeah, I think that Sotapelli is the worst option that is out there. I mean, the problem with that is it's a surgical procedure, number one. Number two, you have to repeat it every 3 to 4, sometimes 5 months. And once you set the dose, it's sort of hard to tweak that dose in a person whose demands are changing with time. A more reasonable approach with ladies is creams or injections. I don't like injections because you get these big spikes of testosterone. So my recommendation, which is fairly affordable, is you can get testosterone cream and put a little dab on that's measured every day and keep your levels just humming along nice and even. That's usually the best effect. In my
But the worst thing to do is just to go get that or get a prescription for that. You've got to get tested. So the person that can do the testing, or either one of these doctors here, you can call them. We'll give the numbers out later. Dr. Light actually prescribes the medication, so whichever route you'd like to go.
Let me say this also. Optimize their magnesium levels, because magnesium is required for the production and binding of every single hormone in the body. I'm not saying the magnesium deficiency is causing your testosterone deficiency, but it may be somewhat related. So optimize the basic things and then add hormones after you've optimized your mineral status.
Go ahead, Bill. Bill in Dallas. You're on the ticket, Bill.
George, it's Bill Cobb. How you doing, man?
Hey, Bill. How are you, buddy?
Good, buddy. Hey, I just turned in, man. Hey, really excited about you and your future in the next couple of weeks, man. Next couple of years, actually. So
Yeah, it's a couple of years. Thank you very much, Bill.
Yes, sir. Hey, real quick. So I'm getting ready. I'm working with Doc Webster, and I've got all the materials and everything I need to do for my detox. I'm getting ready to start out. But I noticed that I know you had all your YouTube videos deleted because you changed your accounts. I'd like to have a good workout regime with burst training, so that I can really get back into it and get the maximum benefits of the detox itself. What would you recommend, or what kind of regime or regimen would you recommend, just me getting back into it so I can get on the right track?
I'm glad you said that. I know you're about to do my 21-day cleanse, but the 30-day fat loss program that I have is the one that comes with a link of me training Bob Sturm in a burst training routine.
Okay,
And
great.
that routine doesn't mean you have to use the same exact exercises, but that routine will make you lose the most amount of fat in the shortest period of time. It's extraordinarily effective. I used it when I trained Michael Dell and Mark Cuban and Dennis Rodman. It's a very, very effective routine. So you're on the wrong program for the fat loss part, even though you can lose a lot of fat on the cleanse. But I know why you're using the cleanse. You've used it, 6-7 times now, maybe more. So use that and then go to the fat loss afterward.
Okay, so is the 30-day, is that, if I remember correctly, that also comes with additional supplementation along with it as well, correct?
Supplements, eating protocol, just like the cleanse, and then also the burst training routine, the link.
Fantastic, bud. Okay,
Thank
man.
you, Bill. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
This is the All About You show at 7:22, about to be 7:23. Call us with your questions, your comments about your health and fitness. Did you read something in a magazine that doesn't resonate with you? Did you see something on TV or hear something on the radio that just doesn't sit with you right? You're not sure. You've heard that having a whey protein before a workout is better for protein synthesis. You've heard it's better to have a protein workout or some sugars after a workout, that it's better for this or that. Are you confused about what you should do for your health? Maybe you just want to lose 2 or 3 pounds. Maybe you want to lose 100. Maybe you don't want to lose weight at all. You want to gain weight. What are the goals that you need for you? We're taking care of you on the Train Station Fitness Show today with Dr. Kevin Light, Dr. Jeremy Webster, and me, George DeJohn. It's 7:23. Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. 7:30, Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. George DeJohn, Dr. Kevin Light, Dr. Jeremy Webster here for you. We have no topic today because you are the topic. So keep that in mind. It's the All About You show. Davey, you didn't remind me to do the 40, so I'm blaming it on Dave Wilson. I'm doing things backwards here. If you want to meet an FC Dallas player, how about free tickets to the 4th of July FC Dallas game? All you have to do is stop by the TXU Energy Tent at the Lowe's off of Forest Lane and Inwood tomorrow between 11 and 3 p.m. Donate a new fan at least 10 inches wide and receive 2 free tickets to the next FC Dallas game. While supplies last, it's easy. Go there today. All right, so 888-787-1310. The topic is you. If you have any questions or comments about your health, your fitness, give us a call. Before we go any further, there's a question someone had asked that all three of us have looked at. Some of it's a little bit confusing because it just doesn't make sense, and we think the person typed in the wrong couple of letters here and there, so we're not going to address that. But the beginning part of this question I wanted to share with you. Person said, I'd like to know more about post-workout meals, specifically sugar. We all know the importance of protein in that window. He said, I'm strictly talking about hypertrophy, which means he wants to gain muscle. He said he read in various places the importance of sugar to prevent cortisol production and encourage protein synthesis. Or does the loss of fat burn outweigh the fat storage from cortisol? Can you guys, one of you, elaborate on that, please, and tell people what it means first, and then what he's getting at, and answer his question.
Okay, so when he asked about hypertrophy strictly, he's saying muscle growth right there. When he's talking about cortisol production and consuming sugar, there is a correlation there. When you eat just a pure protein diet and zero carbohydrates, because your insulin levels are so low, you do get elevated cortisol levels, so there could be potentially an issue here. But as far as a post-workout, I don't think he's going to have a problem with that as long as you're doing the proper type of training. Now, if you're doing the long duration cardio, aerobic type training, you're going to have a lot of cortisol production, and it's going to continue because you're doing the wrong type of training. So you need to do the burst training, which basically tells your brain to shut off the cortisol production. So that's the first thing. Whether you need to consume some sugar, that's really debatable. I don't know if you do. We were talking about this off the air, actually. We were talking about maybe consuming an apple just to replace muscle glycogen. I don't know if that's the greatest thing either, because we have glucose or glycogen in our liver and muscles, but fruit has fructose, which is kind of difficult for the body to convert into glucose. So, there's a lot of different things to consider here. As I said earlier in the show, I've been using like a 30-minute window after you finish working out before you consume your glutamine and your whey protein, and that seems to be working pretty well for my patients.
Let's go to Steve in Denton.
Hey,
Hey, Steve, how are you?
good. I got a question. Actually, I got a couple, but the first one is I noticed that when I consume a little bit of wine before I run, my endurance levels go through the roof, so do my strength levels. And then there's a new product that came out, and I don't know what it's called, but it's creatine hydrochloride, and I'm just wondering why that's so effective.
Say it again. You cut out on us. It's called what?
It's creatine hydrochloride. It's a new form of creatine, and I was wondering why that's so effective compared to the other kind of creatines.
All right, so let me ask you this. Are you using how long have you been using this product with creatine in it?
I just got off of it, and I was on it for about 2 months.
Okay, when did you start the alcohol before you ran?
About 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. So you're not attributing your strength gains to the creatine, you're thinking that it has to do with the alcohol?
Well, no, I got off the creatine, and then I started running a lot. Like, my weight fluctuated about 15 pounds.
Do you guys have a comment on this? I've never heard that in my entire life.
Alcohol? No, I have no idea why that would be.
And it's
That-
wine specifically.
That would go against everything I know about it. Alcohol tends to be a fat storage chemical, and it shouldn't be a fat liberating or an energy liberating chemical.
Steve, did you hear this from someone else, another runner?
No, just tried it out one day.
Okay. There's this new program they have called AA.
Yeah.
I'm jacking with you because I really don't have an answer. I've never heard of having alcohol, specifically wine, before a workout to give you more endurance. The other one about the creatine, what you're going to find with some of these creatine and products is they'll say this one's better because it's micronized and it's better for loading and have it before and after. My experience has been, I've not used creatine in probably 8 years, maybe 7 or 8 years. My experience has been there's not any specific thing you need to do with creatine. Can you get some benefits by having it loaded sooner here and there? Yeah, but what I've learned is as long as you keep it in your body consistently, if you're looking for strength gains, that you will get those strength gains and you will get some size from it. I gain about 5 pounds every time I get on it, and then I lose the 5 pounds every time I get off of it. It's intramuscular water weight. So I don't know if it's more expensive if you really need to spend the money for it. If it works for you and it helps you with your goal, continue to do it. But if it's got a bunch of sugars in it, I don't know if I agree with it. So please be careful.
And let me say this: the new buffered creatine does work pretty well. You don't have to load it like the old creatine monophosphate.
Right.
So I think that's what he's talking about, and that does seem to be a good product because it's not near as hard on the kidneys.
And that's the one I used to use. But when I talk about loading it, some of them say, I think there's a marketing point of view here, and it kind of bugs me. Like where they say load it. Say it again, Steve.
What's the buffer creatine? Because the product I used was called Concrete.
Now, I'm not familiar with the particular product.
Okay. Well, can you specify what the buffer creatine is?
The product I use is called Crealc.
Okay.
Spelled with a K.
Okay. Well, thank you all for answering the questions.
Thank you,
Looks
Steve.
good.
That's one we were stumped on. I don't know if I like that.
The alcohol, that baffles me. That seems exactly opposite of what I
Yeah,
know about how
I know.
alcohol affects metabolism.
Kevin in Dallas, you are on the ticket, young man.
Yeah, hey, George, I got a couple of sons who are shot putters and discus throwers, and they're about 20 pounds overweight, and I was wondering, could they do the cleanse? They're 12 and 13 years old.
Yes, sir, they most certainly can. There was a girl named Christine who did the cleanse, and she was 11 at the time and got incredible results out of it. It actually did better. I don't want to say she did better in school, but when she went back to school after the summer of being off, she got a lot of compliments from her friends and felt more confident while she was in school. So that's one of the benefits I see for children. I know Dr. Webster will probably want to have a comment on this.
Oh, I was just going to say, getting that extra fat off is going to only make them better at the shot put and discus because there's a lot of speed involved with those particular activities
But I
too.
meant the cleanse particularly.
Oh yeah, of course. There's not going to be any problem, and they can eat plenty of food. They can eat plenty of protein on it, so they won't be hungry. They'll have plenty of energy, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Your only challenge may be, Kevin, is having them eat the foods that are designed to for the cleanse, which are a whole bunch of vegetables and good fats, and of course proteins. Very little fruit, and as long as you can do that before they get on the cleanse, so it's an easy transition and not a start like this. It starts too harsh for them. I think they'll do really well.
Yeah, well, my biggest challenge is their mother because she doesn't follow anything.
Take her out of the house.
I would love to, believe me. She's a police officer.
Kevin, I hope this isn't your real name.
I don't care at this point anymore. But, hey, do you can I bring my son to your office?
I don't have an office, but you can always see Dr. Webster. We'll let you go. We're going to give out 2 phone numbers, one for Dr. Webster, one for Kevin, Dr. Light right now, okay? Dr. Webster, 972-735-0707, 972-735-0707. Dr. Light.
817-313-8251.
Say it again, 817.
817-313-8251.
Jack in Plano, you're on the ticket.
Hey, how you doing, George?
Hey, we're great. How are you?
Oh, I'm actually doing pretty good. It's a little too early to listen to you guys, but I enjoy listening to the show anyway.
Thank you.
So every Saturday. Hey, I got 2 questions. First question, a couple of things about me. One is I'm a performer. I do a lot of film and stage work. No, I'm not a stripper.
You don't do any ballet, do you?
I do a lot of jazz, ballet, ballroom, but I sing, so I do a lot of choreography. So a lot of stuff I do is basically my body is my office.
All right, before you go further, you don't sound like you have a singer's voice. Sing something. Sing something now. If you're a performer, you're not embarrassed. Do it right now.
What do you want me to sing? Give me.
So what do I want you to sing? I don't know. I don't sing.
It's 6:30. It's 6. So is it 7 o'clock? Okay, let me see. Get my vocal cords here. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Is that good?
That's it?
Well, do you want me to keep going?
I was looking for a whole performance. I want free tickets, front row seats.
Hey, ask Larry North. He came to see one of my shows. He's seen me. So
what's your question?
Okay, so the question is, a lot of the times after I finish performing, okay, there's this myth, and I need you to correct it for me. Eating during after a certain period of time.
Okay? That's the number one. Followed up by the point is when you take vitamin supplements, because I have to take a lot, do you go with the recommended dosage on the bottle, or do you just go ahead and, take what you can? Because my problem is I get very dizzy, sometimes very lightheaded when I wake up in the morning. And I don't know whether that's because of low blood sugar or low iron. So I've been taking a lot of iron pills. So, make a long story short, those are really the two questions I had.
So, Jack, you're talking about eating late at night?
Yeah, what's the cutoff? I always want to know, because since I'm highly active and I work out a lot, I'd like to know what are the highly active things.
Okay, we're going to let you go because this is actually a very, very long answer, and I'm going to have each of us contribute, okay?
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Jack. Go ahead.
Number one, stop taking the iron unless you've been tested for iron
He didn't
specifically.
say he was taking iron.
Yes, he did. He said he was taking iron because he doesn't know if it's blood sugar or iron.
He said he didn't know if his blood sugar was low in the morning or his iron was low in the morning. I didn't know
I think he said so he's taking iron.
Oh, he's taking iron.
That's what I got from it.
Okay.
Don't take iron unless you've had your ferritin levels tested and it shows that you need iron. A lot of men do not need iron, and in fact they need less iron than what is in their system. It can become very dangerous. So don't just take iron just because you have a hunch at all. That's the one thing I want to say.
The thing I want to say is, you really want to take your vitamins as recommended. There's water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble, and A, D, E, and K can all accumulate in your fat, and if you're just slamming those vitamins down and you think you're going to excrete them, you're mistaken. So it can really be a problem. So it's probably a pretty good idea just to follow the directions as indicated.
I'd like to be contrarian to that for a moment. If we're looking at an individual who has low energy levels and let's say they take the proper supplements, even though that's probably not true, but let's just say they may need, with all of the exercise and stress, if they're performing for 2 or 3 hours, more vitamin B, more maybe magnesium, I don't know. If that's the case, what needs to happen is they need to be tested by either you, Dr. Light, or Dr. Webster, to find out what their levels are and if they indeed need more than what the bottle says. The other thing, let's address his question about eating late at night. Is there a cutoff period? We know the body does not want to digest food while you're sleeping.
Right.
Just not a good idea to do. If you're going to have something, I would say have fat, because it can actually settle you down a little bit, but I wouldn't say to have anything at night. However, if you are a performer, you're a person who finishes work 11 o'clock at night and you're not a performer, you finish that time or you're starting at that time. Let's say you start at 11, you go 11 till 7 in the morning. You're going to be hungry. You'll need to eat, but that's not time of sleeping. I want your opinion on this about someone having a certain time they're supposed to stop eating and why, and make it fast.
I say stop eating an hour and a half to 2 hours before you go to sleep.
A lot of people say 3. Dr. Light?
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm on the 3 also. However, if your metabolism is just flipping out and you have to eat something, go ahead, but don't eat something that your stomach needs to do a whole lot of work to break it down.
Right.
Agreed?
I agree.
All right. So coming up next, we have more calls on hold. We'll take your calls. It's the All About You show. It's 744 Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. 751 Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket, George D. Jones Train Station Fitness Show. It's the All About You show. We're taking calls about what's most important to you. Got Dr. Jeremy Webster and, Dr. Kevin Light next to me. If you'd like to have a consultation with either of these incredible people, great friends of mine, very professional and knowledgeable, give them a call today. Jeremy Webster is 972-735-0707. Dr. Light, I didn't write yours down,
817-313-8251.
And I know you do integrative medicine, a lot of hormone stuff. You can prescribe medicine for people. So if there's any females or males that feel they need that, we've done a show on it. People can go back and look at that show that we did. My YouTube channel is my website name, 21daybodymakeover.com. There's no dot in there, just 21daybodymakeover.com. All right, let's go to Richard in Irving. You're on the ticket, Richard.
Morning, man.
Good morning.
I've got a couple of questions. These are for my daughter because she's too lazy to get up this morning. She runs on the treadmill
all 6 days a week. She's having a lot of knee pain. Is that due to the treadmill beating her up?
I'm going to go with a big yes. Now, it doesn't mean it has to, but if it wasn't there before and it's there now, there's usually a correlation.
Okay. And also, I heard you say a minute ago that there needed to be some prep for the cleanse. Was that because you were talking about kids, or is that for anybody?
No,
I mean,
basically,
a regimen of fruit.
and that's a great question. I'm sorry to cut you off, Richard. It's a great question because I think if someone's not, let's say you're a child and you're just not committed, you don't have that mindset yet, and it's that perceived value. If you've not purchased something, you tend to waste it. You don't comply. And so that's why I say for children, there's nothing wrong with there's a lot of flavor on the program. It's not hard to do the cleanse whatsoever. But if a child doesn't normally eat vegetables and chicken and turkey and so forth, maybe even fish and some good red meat and some good fats, just all the good things that are on the program, and you start abruptly stopping the bad things and begin this stuff, they may not use it to the fullest effect.
Okay.
Only you know your daughters.
Right, yeah. Gotcha. One more question for me. I'm 55. Is testosterone replacement something I should look at? I'm not real active because I've got a real bad back. And I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys.
Thank you. I'll let Dr. Light handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who's 55 in this country is going to have a testosterone deficiency. It'll manifest in a number of ways that probably you're not aware of. And your activity level even makes it probably more important that you get testosterone replacement.
So not only that, but we know that there are some adverse effects to having low testosterone. Why we know that having a healthy testosterone can actually ward off cancer.
Cancer, and more importantly, you need to have a good testosterone level to prevent cardiovascular disease, which is the big killer in this country.
And I'm seeing a big correlation between low testosterone levels and diabetes as well.
Yes,
absolutely.
Very true. We talked about that when you did that show. Okay, last call. Let's go to Evan in Lubbock. Evan, you are on the ticket.
Hey George, I had a question about our tap water, and I'm a fisheries management major at Tech, and it's also kind of correlated with conservation. And I heard you get onto a subject last week about I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was skirting along the lines of the chemicals that end up in our tap water. A lot of it is due to like excreting some of the vitamins and supplements and those types of things. And I want to know if we have to worry about that, because most of the studies I've seen about that are in Europe, and where the populations are more dense. And I'm curious if that's something to worry about here, and what the alternatives are to safe water drinking. And I don't consider bottled water an option, and I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thank you. It's my understanding, with the guests I've had on the show, with the literature I've read, that our tap water is one of the worst things you can ingest, other than having soda of any type, by the way, ladies. I don't care if it's got no calories and all that stuff. The pipes are not changed regularly, or even every 10 or 20 years, for water treatment plants. Are the filters changed? Yes, but the pipes aren't. Therefore, what happens when you're flushing your medication down the toilet or anything else, vitamins and so forth, however many parts per billion it is, gets into our tap water, and there's this cumulative effect that over time we are adversely affected just by tap water, ingesting tap water all the time, from all of the things that are in our tap water that cannot be filtered out. Now, am I the expert? No, I got this from Lano Hawala, if I'm saying his name correctly. It's L-L-A-N-O, Lano Hawala, H-O-L-A. He's from Hawaii, you can tell. He was a water treatment expert and wrote a book called Don't Drink the Water. And you may want to look into his book. It's not a long read, but he gives some good stats and facts about it, and says we should be drinking filtered water. Here's the problem with filtered water. How do you know that the filter you're getting is actually filtering out everything else that the water treatment plant has already tried to filter? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I am the type of guy who will look at, who only drinks filtered water. I get it from one of these natural grocery stores, and That's what I do. I drink bottled water. It's filtered, and I think it's the better of the bad because I don't know if it is good or bad or not. Comments, real fast.
I use a filtration system in my office. My patients have seen it. It's got carbon filter, reverse osmosis, and ozone therapy. So
Ozone therapy is very good.
It's about as clean as the water can possibly be.
I forgot about that. I
So that's
invested
what I
in a
recommend.
company years ago about that does ozone. Ozone.
It kills any microbes that might be in it.
Ozone is very good. Dr. Light?
Nothing at all to add to that.